Well, Idaho school districts are saving the state millions of dollars.
Plus, another closed-door meeting for the controversial West Ada School Board. Just a few of the topics I discussed with Idaho Education News reporter Kevin Richard in this week's Making the Grade. Making the Grade, Kevin's back. And Kevin, now that it's fall, the legislature starts to get back involved in education. Tell us what happened with broadband, with internet in schools this week at the State House.
Okay, so the legislative committee that's studying broadband in the schools and studying broadband in state government, they met in Boise for 2 days. They heard about 10 hours worth of presentations from various internet vendors to try to get a sense of the landscape. The news, though, was made by the State Department of Education. They came in with some dollar figures that were kind of surprising. Basically, broadband in the schools this year is going to cost about $5 million less than the legislature projected. So pretty significant savings that'll be kicked back into the general fund.
Was this done because schools went out on their own and were able to secure their own internet contracts, or was there something else to it?
Oh no, that was part of the equation for sure. A lot of districts were able to find more bandwidth for less price. But a big part of the equation too is that the districts were able to go back to the federal government and get the E-rate funding that we've talked about so many times. This is the surcharge on your phone bill that had been paying for the Idaho Education Network to a large degree. Those payments had been put on hold when the network was thrown into a lawsuit. Districts were able to go back to the feds, make the case for the money, and get the funding at the local level. So that's helped the states stretch their dollars as well.
There may be also something else in terms of money coming from the legislature, kind of a big announcement when it comes to tax dollars in Idaho.
Okay, so this is a different committee, and it's actually, they're calling themselves a working group, and what they're trying to do is come up with possible options for changing the tax code. They got some surprising advice Tuesday from Jeff Sayer. Jeff Sayer is the head of the state's Commerce Department. He's retiring at the end of the year. But what he told the working group is, look, the day will come when the state should lower taxes again, but this isn't that time. What he's saying is the state should invest in education, namely in professional technical education. So we'll see what the legislature, what the working group does with that advice, what the legislature as a whole does with that advice.
That certainly hasn't been the mantra as of recent, so we'll have to follow that.
So
West Ada, the school district there, the board, the superintendent, now the community all seem to kind of be at odds. There's recall efforts going on with the Board of Trustees. Tell me what's going to happen on Friday.
Okay, Friday afternoon, 5:30, kind of an odd time for it. The school board is going to have another closed meeting. They're going to have an executive session. The timing is kind of strange, and it could all kind of tie back into the dispute over Superintendent Linda Clark's contract.
Which we should mention that you're going to be posting a piece where you look at not only Dr. Clark's contract, but many other superintendents' contracts and see where they all stand, right? Right.
Well, we got curious because some of the trustees have been very critical of that contract, and they've been critical of some of the perks, some of the add-ons that are included in Superintendent Clark's contract. So what we did, and we'll drop this story probably on Thursday, is we asked for the contracts for some of the other superintendents in the larger districts around the state to take a look at what sort of contract clauses are found within. So we'll have that story tomorrow.
And you can find that at idahoednews.org. Of course, go there for Making the Grade. Kevin, thanks for being here.
Thank you.